Most people think November is the time to pack up the garden, wipe down the tools, and say, well, see you in spring. But honestly, that mindset is one of the biggest reasons people miss out on some of the easiest, most rewarding vegetables of the entire year. Because November is not the end, not even close. It's actually one of the most underrated planting months if you know exactly what you're doing. And today, I'm about to show you how to squeeze more life, more harvest, and more savings out of your garden when everyone else thinks the season is over. And trust me, after this, you may never look at November the same way again. So before we dive in, take a quick look at your garden. Whether it's a backyard, a small patch of soil, or even containers on a balcony. Picture it right now. Empty? Fading? A little cold? Perfect, because what I'm about to show you will turn that quiet space into a late-season powerhouse. The kind that makes people go, wait, how on earth is your garden still producing in November? And yes, this works even if you think your climate is too cold. Even if you think you're too late, even if you've had a year full of gardening fails, neglect, pests, or just life happening. November gives you a clean slate disguised as a cold month. And since you're here with me on Urban Eden Garden, you already know how we do things. We grow smart, we grow cheap, and we grow even when the world tells us it's the wrong month. I want you walking away from this video feeling like you unlocked a cheat code almost nobody talks about. A lot of gardeners think gardening ends when the temperature drops, but real gardeners, we know the soil still has plenty to give. And November, it's like a hidden door to winter and early spring success that only opens for people who know what to plant right now. Now, let me start with a vegetable that will make you feel like you've been sleeping on free food this whole time. Spinach. Spinach is one of those cold-loving crops with a personality. It sees chilly weather and says, move aside, I've got this. While other plants slow down, spinach speeds up. You plant it now and it grows quietly all winter, holding on stronger than half the weeds you fight in summer. And I love it because spinach in cold weather tastes different, sweeter, more tender, almost buttery. And the trick? Sow it thick, don't baby it. Scatter those seeds like seasoning. Rake lightly and let nature handle the rest. If your garden has ever made you feel like you're trying too hard, spinach will restore your confidence. It just grows. And speaking of planting now for big rewards later, garlic is that long-game vegetable that makes future you say thank you, thank you, thank you. Plant garlic in November and you're basically planting next year's treasure. Bigger bulbs, stronger flavor, fewer pests. It's one of the easiest things you will ever grow. Drop cloves into the soil, pointy side up, cover them, and walk away. That's literally it. The cold weather helps it establish deep roots, and by the time spring hits, it's already ahead of the game. If you've ever wanted a crop that rewards patience with almost no effort, garlic is that friend. And please, mulch it well. Garlic loves feeling cozy. Now, let me give you something that will excite every impatient gardener or anyone who struggles with waiting. Radishes. The fastest, simplest, blink and they're ready crop. And in November, they still grow as if they're trying to show off. You don't need fancy soil, you don't need special fertilizer. Radishes thrive on simplicity. Even better, they mature in as little as 20 to 30 days, which means you can plant them in November and harvest before the true winter freeze makes everything stubborn. They're crisp, spicy, and incredibly satisfying because they remind you that gardening doesn't always have to take months. Sometimes it takes a few weeks and a little hope. Now, let's talk about the plant that laughs at frost. Kale. If there was a vegetable built for November, it's kale. This plant is tougher than most people give it credit for. Cold temperatures make it sweeter. The leaves get tender, almost glossy, like the plant is using the cold as a spa treatment. And the beauty? Kale doesn't just grow, it keeps giving and giving. Harvest a few leaves and it grows more. It feels like the closest thing to garden magic because you get food for months, and it asks for almost nothing in return. A bit of water, a bit of room, and patience. That's it. Lettuce is another cold-loving champion almost nobody talks about. Many gardeners think of lettuce as a spring crop, but lettuce in November, that's the real gem. Because November lettuce doesn't bolt, doesn't get bitter, and doesn't complain about heat because there isn't any. It stays fresh, delicate, and flavorful. And the trick to making it even more rewarding? Mix varieties. Mix textures, colors, and flavors. You'll get a harvest that looks like something from a restaurant and tastes better than anything you'll buy in a store. And the best part? It's fast. Even if temperatures drop, lettuce doesn't mind waiting a little. It's patient, calm, reliable, like the friend who always shows up. Now, if you want something that thrives in cold like it was born for snow, mache, also called corn salad, is your secret weapon. Most gardeners don't know about it, but once they try it, they grow it every single year. It's soft, buttery, cold-resistant, and so easy that it almost feels like cheating. Sprinkle seeds, rake lightly, and leave it alone. It doesn't need warmth, it doesn't need protection, it handles frost like it's nothing, and it tastes like something you'd expect from a fancy restaurant. The kind of crop that makes people ask, why haven't I been growing this all along? Carrots are another November win because cold weather does something magical to them. It makes them sweeter. The plant produces natural sugars to protect itself from freezing. So if you've only grown carrots in summer, try them now. They're richer, softer, sweeter, almost like nature's dessert. And here's a little trick. After you plant them, cover the area with a wooden board for a few days. It helps the soil stay moist and boosts germination. Once you see tiny green shoots, remove the board and let them grow naturally. Carrots prefer peace and time, and November gives them both. Beets bring double value because you're not just getting roots, you're getting greens too. The tops are edible, tender, and delicious, especially when cooked lightly. And the roots themselves grow beautifully in cool weather. They love consistent moisture, they love rich soil, and they love not being disturbed. Plant them now and you'll be harvesting vibrant red, golden, or striped roots. They store well, they grow quietly, and they add color to a garden that might be looking a little sleepy this time of year. Winter peas are one crop most gardeners overlook, but they're incredible in November. They handle cold surprisingly well, grow quickly, and reward you with tender shoots and pods. They don't need anything fancy. A simple trellis, a bit of space, and they'll climb their way into your fall garden like they've been waiting all year for this moment. And if your season gets too cold before they fruit fully, the tender pea shoots themselves are edible and taste amazing. Every part of this plant is useful. Green onions, the low-maintenance heroes of late-season gardening, are perfect for November. You plant them thick, you harvest as needed, and they regrow. They don't complain about cold. They don't demand perfect soil. They don't need sunlight all day. They're like the easiest roommate you will ever have in your garden, and they're one of the best ways to save money because store-bought green onions never last. But garden-grown, they're always ready. And there's always that one crop people forget about, mustard greens. They grow ridiculously fast and handle cold with zero drama. They're bold, peppery, nutritious, and beautiful in the garden. If you want a leafy crop that thrives without pampering, mustard greens are waiting for you. Now, let me pause the planting list for a moment and share something personal. Last November, I threw some spinach seeds into a corner of my garden without any plan. I honestly forgot about them. Winter came, frost hit, days got short, and I assumed that corner was dead. But by late winter, when everything else was gray and sad, that spinach was alive, vibrant, almost glowing. It felt like I had discovered free groceries hiding in plain sight. And that moment reminded me why I love November gardening, because the payoff always feels bigger than the effort you put in. And that's the thing about November planting. It humbles you in the best way. You realize nature was never really asking for perfection from you. It was asking for participation. A little effort, a little curiosity, and a willingness to plant even when it doesn't look like the right time. November rewards the gardeners who dare to plant when others have stopped paying attention. It's when the loud, dramatic growth of summer fades that you start to appreciate the quiet confidence of cold-season vegetables. They're not here to impress anyone. They're here to survive, thrive, and give you harvests long after you thought gardening season was over. And there's something special about walking outside on a cold morning and seeing green life pushing through the soil. It hits different. The air is crisp, you can see your breath, the sun is low, the world feels slower, and yet your garden is still doing its thing. It reminds you that growth doesn't have to be loud or flashy to be meaningful. Sometimes the most powerful growth happens quietly, in the cold, under pressure. These crops understand that better than we do. Now, what makes November planting even more exciting is how affordable it can be. This is the month where you don't have to worry about pests eating your paycheck. No battling heat waves or droughts, no expensive fertilizers or constant watering schedules. Most of these vegetables actually prefer being ignored. The soil is cool and moist, the sun is softer, the pests are sleeping. It's like nature's giving you a discount on effort. And for gardeners trying to grow food without breaking the bank, this is your month. This is where you save money now and save even more money later. Another beautiful part of planting in November is that you're not just planting for now, you're planting for the future. Garlic planted today becomes next year's entire supply. Spinach you sow now becomes your early spring harvest. Kale you start in November becomes your winter and early spring workhorse. It's like doing a small favor for your future self. And when you see that first flush of green next year, you'll thank yourself for not giving up on your garden just because the calendar flipped. Sometimes I think what makes November gardening so unique is the emotional reward. It feels different from planting in spring. Spring planting is expected. Everyone does it, everyone talks about it, everyone posts pictures of their new garden beds. But November planting? That's personal. It's quiet. It's almost like a conversation between you and the soil when nobody else is listening. You learn patience. You learn trust. You learn that the garden always has more to give if you're willing to plant with a little faith. And believe it or not, November can even help you grow better in every season after, because planting now forces you to understand your soil. It shows you where drainage is good, where cold pockets are hiding, where frost hits first, where the sun still reaches despite the shorter days. This is information that will make you a better gardener all year long. Growing in the cold teaches you things you will never learn in the comfort of spring. Now, because this is Urban Eden Garden and I always want to keep things real, let's talk about the mistakes people make when planting in November. Not to scare you, but to help you get it right the first time. One big mistake is sowing too shallow. Cold weather slows germination, so you want seeds tucked in a bit deeper than in summer. Another mistake is forgetting about moisture. Even though the weather is cool, your soil can still dry out quietly. Give everything a good watering when you plant, and then check in every few days. Not babying, just checking. And the last big mistake is planting too few seeds. In November, sow generously. Some seeds may take longer, some may sleep until spring, some may surprise you. But you'll only know if you plant enough to see the magic. And since we're talking magic, let's go deeper into why each of the crops we talked about earlier is such a win in November. Spinach becomes your steady green, the one you'll rely on when everything else slows down. Garlic is the long-term investment you'll be bragging about next summer. Radishes will keep your gardening energy high because they grow so fast. Kale becomes your winter beauty, the one crop you'll still see when the rest of the world looks like it gave up. Lettuce will spoil you with flavor. Mache will make you feel like a gourmet chef. Carrots will give you sweetness nature only creates in cold soil. Beets give you root and greens in one. Winter peas give you shoots, pods, and nitrogen in your soil. And green onions, well, they just never stop giving. And then mustard greens come along like that one friend who shows up uninvited but makes the party better. Fast, reliable, bold, and full of personality. Everything you want in a cold season crop. Now, I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine two gardeners. One packs up in October, cleans the garden, and waits until spring. The other plants in November. The first gardener rests for months with nothing to show. The second gardener steps outside on a cold day and sees spinach shining, garlic sprouting, kale unfazed by frost, carrots sweetening in the ground. Which gardener do you want to be? The one who waits or the one who grows? And growing doesn't always mean huge harvests, by the way. Sometimes it means growing confidence, growing skill, growing patience. November teaches you all three. This month removes the noise, the rush, the pressure. No competition, no heat stress, no pests buzzing around your ears. It's slow gardening, calm gardening. Gardening for you, not for show, not for likes, not for comparison, just you and the soil. Now, let's talk very quickly about protection because some of you might be thinking, but what if my nights are too cold? And the truth is, most of these crops don't need protection at all. But if you want to give them a little boost, a simple fabric cover, even an old bed sheet on extra cold nights can make a world of difference. You don't need a greenhouse, you don't need heat lamps. A cheap row cover or even plastic creates a microclimate that keeps your plants happy. And because it's November, the sun is gentle, so you don't have to worry about overheating. It's all minimal effort for maximum reward. And here's something most gardeners don't realize. Planting in November helps the soil too. Roots hold the soil in place so winter rain doesn't wash away nutrients. Plants pull nitrogen from the air and store it. Leaves shade the ground to prevent erosion. And when some plants eventually die back, they turn into free organic matter right where you planted them. You're not just growing food, you're building your soil. And good soil pays you back every season. Let me also say this, don't underestimate container gardening in November. Even if you don't have ground space, containers actually warm up faster during the day and stay productive longer. Spinach, kale, lettuce, radishes, green onions, all of them thrive in containers in the fall. And the best part is you can move containers to the sunniest spots or even bring them closer to your door so you're not walking across the yard in the cold. It's gardening convenience at its best. Now, something I love about late season planting is how it changes your relationship with gardening. Summer gardening can feel like a marathon. Watering constantly, fighting pests, trimming, staking, dealing with heat stress, it's a lot. But November gardening, it's peaceful, quiet. It teaches you to slow down and appreciate small victories. A tiny radish sprout, a garlic clove pushing through, a kale plant holding frost like a badge of honor. These moments make you fall in love with gardening all over again. And that's why I always say, don't stop planting just because everyone else has. Some of the most rewarding gardening you'll ever do happens when most people think the season is finished. November planting is not about forcing nature to do something. It's about working with nature's rhythm. Cold weather crops evolved to thrive right now. They grow stronger, taste better, and require less from you. You're not fighting the weather, you're flowing with it. In fact, one of the biggest secrets experienced gardeners know is that fall and early winter gardening is easier than spring gardening. No bugs eating your seedlings, no sun scorching your plants, no competing weeds trying to take over the entire garden in 1 week. It's almost relaxing. It feels like gardening with training wheels, but in the best way possible. And you know what else November planting gives you? Momentum. While everyone else waits until spring to get back into gardening shape, you'll already be ahead. You'll already have things growing. You'll already be harvesting. You'll go into spring with confidence, experience, and actual food on your plate. That kind of head start changes the entire year for you. It sets the tone, it creates excitement, it builds consistency. And consistency is everything in gardening. You don't need perfection, you just need to keep going. And November is the easiest month to keep going because the plants do almost all the work. Your job is just to plant them, give them a place to grow, let the cold air, soft sunlight, and moist soil do the rest. So here's what I want you to do after watching this video. Take one vegetable from everything we talked about today, just one, and plant it. Don't overthink it, don't wait for a sign, don't worry about whether the timing is perfect. Just plant. Because the best gardeners aren't the ones with perfect timing, they're the ones who plant even when the timing feels uncertain. And if you really want to elevate your garden, plant 2 or 3 crops. Mix fast-growing ones like radishes with long-game ones like garlic. Add leafy greens for steady harvests. Build a little ecosystem even in fall. Make your garden a place that doesn't shut down just because the weather cools off. Because your garden can still grow. Your garden can still produce. Your garden can still surprise you. And November? Well, November is the month that proves it. And if you found this helpful, drop a leaf emoji in the comments so I know you're still here with me. And of course, if you want more ways to grow food without breaking the bank, hit that subscribe button because I've got so many more tips coming your way. Things that are going to make next year your most successful gardening year yet.